This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
What's up, everybody? Ricky Widmer here, along with Sean Anderson.
What's up, everybody?
And Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
This is weird because usually when the three of us are in the same room at the same time, Sean and I are in different spots.
Yeah.
Sean's over here, I'm over there, we're here for the fast break, but for today, you got, go ahead.
Well, I'm invading your podcast again, Mark Weber, twice in a row, baby.
Well, Mark couldn't be here today.
I'm
we
the
are
co-host.
here. This was a jam-packed evening. You guys live stream killed it for the NFL
3
draft.
hours of content.
Johnny and I were at 3 hours of Avengers content for us, and
I'm
then we
equally
recorded
jealous.
the review.
Yeah.
So we had that, so I recorded that before this, and now we're talking about the first round. We're basically talking quarterbacks in the first round, all 5 of them, and then we're going to do best and worst from the first round. Before we get into everything, a little bit of housekeeping for you guys. If you want to help support us, go check out patreon.com/most valuable podcast. That's where you can go and do it, and you can even join a podcast for a month. Every month you are at that tier and support us. Number 2, check out our store to get an MVP t-shirt. I'm not wearing it, but the logo is usually
Looks
right
great,
here
Ricky.
on the t-shirt. Then mostvaluablepodcast.com. That's where you get MVP each and every day.
Oh, watch
and
the-
last but not least, I always kind of do that. I go every single day.
That's not really us. It
It's
doesn't
not-
represent
it's-
us.
I- it was on a tilt. It was on a tilt.
Put the arm
It
down.
was on a tilt. But
Let's
then
Eileen.
the last thing is, if you're on Apple Podcast or iTunes, go give us a 5-star
Go like more
rating.
3 in the paint.
Do I do one of these?
Yeah.
Am I serving
Let's
it up
get the
now?
podcast
Hey,
going.
this is not demonetized.
What we are diving into,
Jesus.
we're not going to be advertiser friendly, Dave. We're not going to be advertiser friendly. But first one we're going to jump into, we're going to go right in order. We're going to start with Baker, then go down the line, Darnold, Allen, Rosen. We'll start with Baker Mayfield. And Sean, I want to start with you because I know that you have some hot takes and some hot opinions
I always have
on
hot
this
takes.
one. Was Baker Mayfield the right choice for the Browns at number 1?
In my personal opinion, Baker Mayfield was not the right choice at quarterback at number 1. Again, I have a tough time bashing teams for making the wrong choice at quarterback. Last year, after the Bears draft, I was on a podcast talking about the Bears trade up and that if you love a guy, go and take him. I think that's what the Browns did here. They love Baker Mayfield, and they went out and got him, and they think that he's the franchise quarterback. I can't blame the Browns for making that pick. If they believe in their evaluation and their scouting that Baker Mayfield's their guy, make that pick and have 100% confidence in that pick. Again, I can't blame that. In my personal opinion, though, I would not pick and chosen Baker Mayfield. I think his immaturity is going to really shine in Cleveland. Not only from
And
the
that's
crotch
not a
grabbing,
good thing.
Yeah, exactly. Not only from the crotch grabbing stuff in the Kansas game, the flag planting at Ohio State, obviously the off the field issues as well with the cops running away while he was intoxicated. But I just do not think he has the right leadership skills as a Cleveland Brown. I know people love the chip on his shoulder, and again, I think on the field when he is playing quarterback, he looks great, and he has the talent to be a number 1 quarterback. But I don't think his maturity level is that of a number 1 overall pick. You look at Mitch Trubisky; he had the composure and the confidence to be at least a top pick, the number 1 quarterback taken off the board last year. I do not see that in Baker Mayfield, and I know people love it. And you brought this up; he's a lunch pail guy. He's going to have that blue collar mentality. He's trying to prove himself, but I think he's more of less of the guy who's looking dirty because he just put in a hard day of work at a construction site. He's more of Vinny checking himself in the steel beams, making sure his hair's okay.
Sean. Look, this is where you couldn't be further from right. Look, Baker Mayfield is a perfect fit for this Cleveland
Thank you,
Browns
Dave.
team.
Thank you.
I could not love this pick harder if I tried. Like, I'm not even a Cleveland fan. I'm a fan of losers, though, to be fair. Like, I enjoy the rebuild. I'm about the process. TTP, baby.
Trust the process.
But-
What was the other team you liked before that? Like before the 76ers that
so many
completely
rebuilding
sucked.
teams. So many rebuilding teams. That's my jam. That's where my heart lies. In this Baker
That's why you're a
Mayfield
USC
pick,
fan and Laker fan. Those
I
guys,
like winning early on in life.
They lose a lot.
Early on in life, I loved winning. Now I'm all about the rebuild. Baker Mayfield is the ideal fit for this Cleveland Browns team, and I'll tell you why. Because he is incredibly passionate about football. This is a kid who walked out of 2 different schools, earned his way. He was a fantastic college player, and he was one of the most athletic players. He's a solid passer. The big knock on him is, like you said, maturity. Yes. Mm-hmm. Guess what? You're playing a freaking sport. You're throwing a football. If you're not mature enough to throw a football for entertainment, like, I think you have bigger problems in life. I'm not concerned with him because on the field, you know what? The whole flag plant thing, that was a rivalry. That was a statement. That was an
It was against Ohio State. It was a non-conference game.
Yeah, but Ohio State has been a powerhouse in football for how long in this past decade? It's a I'm here moment. Mm-hmm. The whole thing with the crotch grab was, oh, you're not going to shake my hand at midfield, show respect and sportsmanship to me? Well, I'm going to dad dick you in the game, and then I'm going to do a crotch grab and say, there was a whole lot more that was said after that. But I think it's passion towards the game. It's good passion. It's youthful exuberance in that manner. And the drunken tasing thing, I can't condone that.
I think it's the thing that I just want to come in here and jump in.
Makes sense, yeah.
The thing that adds to this, and I'm not saying they're connected because they're not, but the thing that adds to this is the Johnny Manziel thing of
he went there.
You're talking immaturity. Johnny Manziel's immature, and the Browns do it again, although Johnny Manziel was alcohol and completely different than Baker Mayfield.
I don't want to bring that up with Baker Mayfield. I'm not trying to say this is Johnny Manziel 2.0.
But with the Browns, those idiots come out of the woodwork.
Well, that's just
dismiss them.
Yeah,
not Browns fans are coming out and saying that.
No,
it's just people
comparers
with his ability, his winning a Heisman, being a smaller quarterback, really taking over the college football world, like Manziel did, and then having immaturity. That's why people bring that up. Get away from that. He's not Johnny Manziel, a carbon copy. Again, I know Johnny Manziel has worked over his issues. I'm proud of him for that. I hope he makes a successful comeback. That's an illness. I'm not trying to make fun of that or proud of that. But Baker Mayfield's off the field problem was he was drunk. Johnny Manziel was a drunk. He was abusing substance. That was his biggest problem, and he was also immature to go with it. I do see some similarities between the two, kind of with the immaturity, but I would not say Baker Mayfield's a Johnny Manziel clone. I just feel at the number 1 overall pick, that is a prestigious pick. And not saying that Baker Mayfield's tarnishing that pick in any way, but I looked at Sam Darnold as a leader, as the prototypical quarterback, and I think that would have been not only the safe pick, but also the correct pick for the Cleveland Browns. If you want to break that streak, if you want to get rid of that Browns jersey and just have one quarterback jersey to wear proudly as a Browns fan, I thought it would have Darnold on the back of the jersey. Again, Baker on the field, I think he's fantastic. But when you are going to be looked at as the guy who represents the franchise, I don't know if Baker can do that. Again, Baker has a great chip on his shoulder. The kid works his butt off, but I just do not know if it's going to be about him or if it's going to be about Baker, and that really worries me.
About the team or about Baker?
Yes, thank you. Yeah. If it's going to be about the Browns or if it's going to be about Baker, and as a quarterback, as the center of the franchise, you need to have that ability to take all of that on. But again, too much can be too much, and that's the one thing that worries me about Baker. It's not on the field, but it's how will his teammates be receptive to him, especially of him being a rookie, and how will he really deal with sitting behind Tyrod Taylor if he does sit behind Tyrod Taylor. Hard Knocks is going to be insane with that preseason.
Oh,
going
that's
with
right.
Hugh Jackson,
the Browns have
going
Hard
with
Knocks.
Tyrod Taylor, seeing
that.
Baker Mayfield. I just I would not have taken Baker Mayfield.
See, I'm with Dave. I'm on the other side of that to where, me personally, would I have made the pick? Probably not. I would have copped out and made the safe one of Sam Darnold. But seeing this pick, my first thing to Johnny, who doesn't know anything about football, was I love that pick. Love it. Even what I tweeted out today when they said that, Baker's probably going to be the first pick, I said that I liked it because of what he brings. I don't think that it's going to be, we're not going to see off the field issue Baker Mayfield. We're going to see the chip on my shoulder. A big thing early on I loved about Baker is when we heard the things where it's well, Josh Rosen doesn't want to play for Cleveland. Who wants to play for Cleveland? Baker Mayfield was out there going, I would love that. He's I would love to have that opportunity to fight for that team to get them their first championship and get them to the playoffs in how long. He's going to be a guy for me that kind of fits in with that fan base. They're going to rally around him because he's going to be I think it will be team first, Baker second. And then also, it's like you talk to like guys who have talked to Lincoln Riley, guys who talked to those Oklahoma Sooner players. They all love Baker. So why would you question
Well, that's
what
the
the
thing.
teammates
Do any
are
of
going
them
to
go
say?
to his birthday party? You know?
Yes, Orlando Brown.
Didn't hear about that.
But it's draft day.
It's draft day, the movie.
Oh,
It's the Browns.
see draft day.
It's
None of them
draft
went to
day,
the
it's the
birthday party,
Browns.
man.
I didn't see
If
draft
only he
day.
would have went to Wisconsin.
Jesus Christ. No,
mean,
but
red and white,
with
same
Baker,
colors.
Of course they're going to love him.
Yeah.
You're winning football games. That was a successful program under Baker Mayfield. You're going to love that guy. Lincoln Riley taking over for Bob Stoops. You have Baker Mayfield who takes you that far. Yeah, you're going to love the kid. And again, he's probably fun to be around, but when you're a professional, you're getting paid, your career's on the line, and if Baker isn't putting yourself and the team in front of if he's not putting team first and having Baker first, that's going to cause issues. And also, how is Baker going to react to being behind Tyrod Taylor if he does have to sit for him for a year? And if Cleveland doesn't win, how is Baker going to react to that? Because Baker, again, was winning at Oklahoma. He had to fight his way on. If he's fighting and not seeing results, that could piss off Baker Mayfield. So that's the one thing is, again, I'm just trying to point this out because this is the most important decision that the Cleveland Browns have made in years. They go out and get what they see as their franchise quarterback. The first time picking number 1 overall since 1999, since Tim Couch. I was 2 years old, just a little twinkle, and now look at me. I can grow a beard and I'm wearing a suit and look decent, presentable.
That's bad because I can't do any of those
That's
things.
the thing is, I was
Wear a suit or
I was
grow a
spitting up on
beard?
myself when Tim Couch was selected. Now, I can put on a tie, even though I'm not wearing one right now. But you know what I'm saying?
I don't
Had one
see
of
it.
them.
Like I see the initial worry with it, but for me, I look past it very easily because of what I've seen. Like when you say that, oh, what are they going to do when he doesn't have the starting job? This is a kid who 3-star, like everyone wanted to share today, 3-star quarterback coming out of high school, walk on here, had to work his way there, eventually worked his way up. Like all this kid done is, I know that people are going to say, oh, well, it comes from a family with money, but when it comes, but no. But when it comes to,
We're trying to dispel the myth.
Yeah, people that bring that up, it's
well, they do the same thing
shit.
with Josh Rosen.
Peyton
as well.
Manning came from a family of money. Archie was an NFL quarterback.
But when
Like,
it comes
come
to
on.
Baker's football life, all this kid has had to do is work to get where he is right now. And that is what I think the Browns saw, and that's what I liked in Baker, where it was he's going to be fired up for the team. He's going to be very competitive. He's not going to, like, the last thing you want in Cleveland is a guy who is okay with losing. You want a guy who's not okay with losing so he can hopefully turn that into W's.
Again, I don't disagree with
Because you have
Rutgers.
one win in 2 years.
I'm just trying to bring up
Didn't Johnny win that last game? Sorry.
I think so. Talking about Johnny Manziel?
Yeah.
Again, I'm not trying to take away from what Baker has done on the football field. Going from a 3-star recruit, walking on to different places and winning the starting job at Oklahoma. I'm not trying to dispel that. I'm not trying to say he didn't work to where he got. He worked his ass off. Congratulations, you're the number 1 overall pick. I just look at that and I just don't know if he has the right shine to be a number 1 overall pick. And this might be a knee-jerk reaction, and it also might be dispelled once he steps
This
on the
entire
football field.
podcast is knee-jerk.
Yeah,
reactions.
that's the point.
It
of
might
this
be
thing.
dispelled once he's on the football field, but you have to bring this stuff up, or you're like, you can't just be like, "Oh, it was a great pick." You know,
Well, that's the thing. Like,
It's just
if
something. He's 6'1". If he starts to get banged up, what's going to happen? If he still believes he's better than Tyrod Taylor, what's going to happen? Is he going to cause a divide in the locker room? And Hugh Jackson, we know as a coach, isn't that great at managing situations. John Dorsey and Jimmy Haslam didn't tell Hugh Jackson before 2 days ago. What started coming out 2 days ago? Baker Mayfield to the Browns sounds really familiar.
You know what that kind of sounds like to me? Kind of sounds like what Chicago did,
Trubisky.
where John Fox didn't know until hours before they made that pick.
Well, and again, it's just something where I don't know for the first year what's going to happen with Baker Mayfield.
Right.
How is he going to react if he doesn't win the starting job? How is he going to react if they start losing? How is he going to react if he feels like he can start winning them games? It's going to add another chip again, but it's how will he handle that as an adult? Will he be mature enough to do that? It's just something that I want to throw out there.
What were you going to say?
So a couple notes on that. I think that Tyrod Taylor's used to being replaced as a starting quarterback, so I don't think there's a big concern there.
Five pick Peterman.
Yeah, I
five
mean,
PP.
If that man can get a start out, I mean, who's to say who can't? I think the thing that I want to go to with Baker is really more on the tape. Like when he's out there playing, when you're watching the games, he does stand out as the best player on the field. He does. He has that it factor to him that I can attribute. The thing that kills me about that is that I hear so many draft analysts talk about, well, with his height, he needs to be Drew Brees levels of this and, Russell Wilson levels of that. And I'm like, no, he can be himself. Like, I hate the, he has to fit in this box or he can't work. Like,
Yeah.
I think Baker Mayfield has a great assortment of qualities that kind of fit to his game, and he's learned to play around them and through them. Like, he knows he's not the tallest guy. He can't see over linemen who are 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", but he's mobile enough to get himself into a better position in the pocket. He knows how to use his legs. He knows he has the internal clock going. Like, I just, when you watch him play, that's where I fall in love with him. I understand and I respect the reasons why off the field he is a potential problem, but on tape, when you get that guy on the field, he just does everything you need him to do.
Again, I don't want to take away. On the field, he's a first number 1 overall pick talent. Again, the talent is there. It's the maturity of being a franchise quarterback.
The best thing I've ever heard him say during this draft process was, I can't remember what show it was at this point. It was probably the Dan Patrick show. And they asked him, who do you want to model your game after? And he said, there's 2 guys. First off was Drew Brees, because shorter guy, he's like myself, I kind of model that. And he goes, Brett Favre.
Yeah, Brett Favre.
Kind of that like gunslinger mentality and that like gamer mentality of like, I'm just going to go out there and compete and have fun doing it. Like, you could have just said Brett Favre alone. I would have been like, Baker, I love you. But like Drew Brees, and like if you're trying to model your game after those 2 guys, I know it's easier said than done. But like,
there's only one Drew Brees.
Those are 2 good guys to try to attain for if you're going for guys you want to be as successful as.
Does he start day 1, Baker Mayfield?
Tyrod starts day 1, and we're going to have to see what you said. Is it going to be what I think, and where he's just going to be like, all right, I'm not going to sit here and be okay with being complacent with being the backup, but I'm not going to cause a problem. Or like you said, might there be a problem if he's not starting day 1?
Where does Tyrod beat him on the field?
I think what it's going to be I'm seeing through training camp, I think it's going to be one of those things where it's like, you know what, just Tyrod is a better grasp of
much more
speed of the game, and he's been in the league longer, understands the playbook. Yeah. But I could see it being like a Mike Glenn and Trubisky situation where it's like, hey, you know what, we've lost 6 games to start this season. Let's yank him and put the kid in.
Well, that's the thing. This Browns team has made so many additions to bolster that offense that I think Tyrod Taylor can succeed. And Tyrod Taylor, no knock against him. He is a safe player. He is a very consistent short passer. He doesn't take risks, which is literally the reason why he got the boot. Was he won't be able to win you many games, but he won't lose you many games either. He is just that middle of the road guy. So I could see late in the season, if the Browns are out of contention, Baker gains some starts, but I don't think that. I think that's a glimpse. That's his true test. It might be week 14.
But he
15,
can definitely win. He has the chance to win the job this offseason.
That's the thing is, like, when I look
potentially.
at
very low on.
I'm going Tyrod, but there's a chance. It's Indiana Pacers. There's a chance.
The only thing that I think happens is that Tyrod has more experience over him.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't see where Tyrod Taylor beats Baker Mayfield on the field.
And that's why I'm saying I'm assuming Tyrod will start and then get replaced halfway to 3
I don't know. I don't know. If Hugh Jackson's trying to save his job, why wouldn't he go with a better quarterback?
Well, that's like, is he better now? And does he know the offense? And now that it's Tyrod. But Tyrod,
that's the thing.
The thing is, Tyrod's already gone through a couple of systems.
Yeah, it's been
so he
Baltimore,
knows how. From Baltimore being a backup, then going up into Buffalo and having to learn their system. Like, I feel like he understands the process of, here's the book, memorize it 3 times over, pick out what you like, and go from there. And that's the thing where Baker's going to walk in from a college system where he had a bit of free will, to put it nicely.
Some improv.
Yeah. And now it's, here's the rules you're going to play by. And that's the thing, because like we talked about with someone else we'll get into later with Lamar Jackson, like, it depends on your fit to your quarterback. If your OC wants to run a system that isn't 100% in line, you could have issues. You know, it's easier for some people to grasp than others.
The whole thing with Baker, too, and this kind of goes back to maturity, is I think there was a rumor that he didn't learn the Chargers playbook before.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The Browns don't have to worry because the only playbook he didn't learn were the Chargers.
But that still worries me in some ways. I
mean,
that
doesn't like.
But if he's not willing to do that, like even if he doesn't want to go to the Chargers at 17, I understand that. Like that, if that's your mentality, like, oh, they don't have a chance of drafting me. But like, you got to give the respect there. I just, that rubs me the wrong way. Again, it's all about maturity. And if we're talking about a number 1 overall pick, it comes back to that maturity level. Yeah. On the field, I think he can win the job day 1, or start day 1. Again, the talent level is there, but will he put that work in to win that job right away? And obviously, again, people are going to bring this up. He won the job at Oklahoma. He put his work in to become a walk-on in 2 different programs. I just worry about, now that I'm in the show, now that I've proven enough to be the number 1 overall pick, where do I go from here?
The one thing, and the reason why I'm not using that Charger thing as too much of like a negative is we don't know what happened in his visits. We don't know if there was a team like the Cardinals or the Bills that, like, when he visited were like, hey, we really like you. If you get to us here, we are taking you. Where if I'm Baker Mayfield and the Cardinals did that at 15, I'd be like, well, why am I going to learn yours at 17? I'm not going to make it that far. So there's that where I play into it, but I can see where you're coming from, where it's like just common courtesy.
If you're making the effort to talk to them, you should respect them enough to.
If you have a job interview, you're not going to learn everything about the 2 companies that you're going to go to, even if you know you're going to get one job. If you're going to get, so let's say you have a job interview at one place that you for sure you're going to get, and you have a second one lined up as like a family friend. You're just going to go in there like, what's up? Like you're just going to go lay back and not get anything. I just think that's disrespectful.
No, I'm not saying like, because I've seen situations like that where it's like, hey, I've got 2 lined up this week. That first one went really well to where it's like, yeah, I pretty much got this job. And the second interview that week, you go into it and it's like, you still wear the suit and the tie, you go through but it's like, I'm just going through the motions at this point. I'm not really trying. And that's what I think maybe should have been done, where it's like, hey, I'll go through the motions, make it seem like I'm taking it, but I really don't want to go. Like, I don't think I'm going to fall there.
And maybe this is the reason, and this comes back probably to the whole quarterback class in general, is looking at the 5 quarterbacks, Baker, Sam, Josh, and Lamar. Everyone fluctuated on who their number 1 was. You at some point had Allen as your number 1 overall quarterback. Most people had Darnold. Some people had Baker number 1 overall.
And the thing I will say with the last 2 mocks, I said it when I did them, the first 2 picks of Allen, Darnold weren't what I would do. It's what I was hearing. Like Todd McShay was like, oh, they're going to go with Allen. So I'm like, oh, they'll go Allen. Giants
your last
at the time
big board,
like Darnold.
who was the number 1 quarterback?
Big board?
Yes.
The number 1 was Allen.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I had Josh Allen as my number 1.
All I'm trying to say is you had Allen.
Yeah.
Some people, I'm not trying to disrespect or anything. I'm just saying, I think really the who you liked as quarterback kind of reflected the personality that you were. John Dorsey, I think that he really vibed with Baker Mayfield. And I think it was something where
kind of like how the Giants like Darnold.
I vibe a lot with Josh Rosen because I feel a ton of Aaron Rodgers in him. And if I'm out on the field and I'm putting a guy out on the field, I want to feel like, this kid's going to be the next Aaron Rodgers. I know that we'll talk about him in a little bit, but I would rather have an Aaron Rodgers out there. I just don't think he fit with Cleveland, and I didn't think he was going to be the pick. I thought Darnold vibed with Cleveland. I thought he was going to be the guy in Cleveland. I thought he had everything to be the next quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, and it didn't come to fruition. And I just don't know if Baker is going to be the guy that takes them out of the deep hole they're in.
The dog pound?
Yeah.
The dog pound. Really,
Thanks, Dave.
Last thing I want to mention is we didn't really get to talk a huge part about him, but number 4, Denzel Ward, really quickly. I'll go to you first, Dave. What do you think of that? Taking Baker Mayfield 1, what do you think of the Ward at 4?
I get it was a need. It doesn't mean I have to like it. I still
think you want Bradley Chubb.
I would have gone Chubb.
Give me the Chubb.
I just think that Chubb has like a special factor to him, that his upside is higher than almost. I think it's literally like Saquon Barkley and then Bradley Chubb was
Some
my
are
number
saying
2.
he could be a better pass rusher than Myles Garrett, who went number 1.
It's insane how good this kid can be, and that's why I'm like, I get you need a corner. But go deep in this draft. Go in your second. You have like 3 second-round picks or something.
Yeah.
You've got a plethora of picks. I get
2
Denzel
at the
Ward was
beginning,
so
1
good,
at the end.
But in my mind, the difference between Denzel Ward and the next 3 corners versus Bradley Chubb and the next couple pass rushers is miles apart.
Yeah, I flipped a ton on which quarterback was my favorite. I'm fine that they went with their need. I think Chubb was a better player. Ward was a bigger need. I flipped on Josh Jackson being my favorite, Denzel Ward being my favorite. I'll even throw in Isaiah Oliver. Like, I flipped on who my favorite was. I'm fine with the pick at Denzel Ward. It's not a game changer, but you already have a pass rusher in Myles Garrett, and if you want to fill out and really make sure that defense is deeper and can hurt you on every single level, I understand the Denzel Ward pick.
No, and I'm the similar way, where the thing I find interesting about Ward is there are still a lot of people who are not high on him. Most people had him top 10, but there are some, like, you look at our comment section where they're like, Ward's going to be a bust, he shouldn't be a top 5er, and it's like people are still divided on Denzel Ward because of his height and his frame and everything that he brings. But I can see, Dave, where you're going because some people were like, hey, go at Bradley Chubb.
You're a
match
terrible
him up
team.
with
Pick
Myles
the
Garrett.
best player.
And it's like you can what's one of the things you can never have enough of is pass rush.
rushing. Oh, my God, yeah.
But, I mean, I can understand looking at the corners on their team.
But having better
they need
pass rush
someone.
improves your corners because the quarterbacks are put in more positions to make their throws.
But to quote Jim Morris Sr., their corners right now are diddly poo. They needed something. They needed something.
But you have so many
Ward
picks.
is that something. They do.
You could address it later.
But they need Harold Landry in the second.
Well, and that's the thing, though. The two guys that I love, Oliver and Josh Jackson, on the board, 33 and 35.
I'm surprised Josh Jackson fell.
Yeah.
I'm so surprised.
So those two guys, I mean, you could have had two corners, two starting caliber corners in my mind at 33 and 35.
So we'll see. They've got lots of options. That's the upside. This Browns team is far away from done with this draft.
Real quick,
Notice how I didn't ask you guys for grades, and that's exactly why.
Damn it! I was just about to do that.
Are you giving do you want a first round grade?
B.
Go.
I'll give them a B. They address needs, just the wrong players in my mind. But again, Cleveland, if you love a guy, go get him.
I'll give them an A. They got the guy they want. They got the guy they want at quarterback, and they fit a need at cornerback.
If
cornerback, same thing.
If I wasn't on the mindset of go get the guy you love, it'd be like a C.
What would you be your first round grade?
It's a B plus. Like
Bradley Chubb would have made it an A plus.
It probably would have been. It probably would have been. Look, I love their picks, and like Sean said, like this draft, we came in very much of respecting the if it's your guy, go get your guy. I believe in what you're doing. I'm starting to throw out a lot of the but the value range here is X, Y, and Z. Like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what the value range is if the pick pans out. Nobody's gonna look back and be like, "Wow, what was that?"
No one's gonna remember in 5 years that Denzel Ward was the 7th ranked player and he went 4th. As long as if he pans out, no one's gonna care.
Exactly. So I'm a B plus. I like the Baker pick. They could have done it a dozen different ways, but still, I think they got the guy they wanted there. Denzel Ward's a hard need for them. So B plus.
Well, this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you think down below about the Baker pick, Denzel pick, and what you guys would give the Browns for their first round grade.